Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Battle Magic, at least anyway, or this thing I'm calling Update. Let's see, I'll get this one started. I'll cover the things I talked about last week, just to go over it quickly. There were no buttons. I wanted to add buttons to the main menu. I wanted to load a game. I wanted there to be, at least in this game, an outline of a dungeon, at least some yellow walls, uh, a menu, have the main menu here close, and perhaps even have a player drawn as well as a little circle. So let's see what I got so far. As far as buttons go, as you can see, they added a couple more things. There's some things actually being drawn here. Like we have a tutorial, single player challenge, or exit. Quas Wex exit to be exact. It's a little joke. It'll make more sense as the game actually gets completed. Um, so as far as buttons go, yep, got it to work. In fact, I'll click one right now. Exit. And it works. They're actual buttons. They actually click. um, Actually, I spent a lot of time trying to get the colors to coordinate with the title colors at the top. Now, I was having a little bug with the engine itself, which was handwritten. There was basically just some flickering going on, like it wasn't always constantly drawing. I'll save that for maybe another time. But let's take a look at the next steps. I wanted there to be a little bit of a minimal game, so I did that with tutorial. As you can see, there's some yellow walls here. So I hit the yellow walls. I close the main menu. It's no longer visible. Um, this is a player right here, example of a player, and this is basically what the game screen is going to look like. I would like this circle to be a little bit more anti-alias. Right now it's very grainy looking. It's just generally unattractive, but I am very happy with the yellow walls. It really contrasts the way I wanted it to. But as of yet, there's no buttons, there's no actions, typing. There's nothing really to do except to stare at the screen, which isn't fun. So I'll push the only button that is created. It's escape, which takes it back to the main menu. And I'll close it out. So that's basically it for last week's update. So I am very happy to say I accomplished everything I wanted to get done. All of it. Um, that's a little bit more impressive than I really imagined. Especially the buttons. They came out a lot nicer than I was really expecting. Pretty much perfectly what I imagined. I hope I didn't waste too much time on a little nice little piece of artwork, but I think it'll be fine. Um, so now I'm going to talk about kind of what happened over the week, over the past couple days that really took so long. Um, well, okay, I guess I'll talk about how my game engine works a little bit. It's based off of this work of a book called Building Games in Java by David Brackeen. I'll put a link in the description. The book is a little outdated right now. It was written when Java 1.4 was the main version, and now it's 1.7 tends to be the main version. 1.6 is still mostly distributed. It's like the most common version out there right now, especially for Linux systems, but 1.7 is um, the one that I use, and I think it's been released now. I'm not entirely up to date on that. And so there's a lot of things missing. There's some really big updates since 1.4, like things even as simple as array lists. Oh, come on, hash map. I know you're here somewhere. Oh, here we are. This thing, hash map with the integer and virtual key parameter or types. So saying that the key type is an integer, the value type is a virtual key, and that's kind of my own class as well. So I won't explain that now, but basically in Java 1.4 there was none of this. Defining what a hash map contained. It was just creating a hash map which used an object as a value and an object as a key. And from there on out, it was up to you to make sure everything was proper and tight inside there and that you casted each object back and forth as you needed, which is way more tedious. And the book doesn't use examples like that because it wasn't available in that version. So while the book was extremely solid on its game engine ideas, I wouldn't really I'd be less enthusiastic to recommend it right now, because some of its code is a little bit outdated like that, and there's so many better ways to do it, or at least more efficient ways to do it. But its ideas are still extremely solid, and I find to be really useful in writing your own game engine that uses Java in a very simple way. Like for instance, this game, it totally runs off of vanilla Java. There are no extended shared object files. There's no dill pickles. It's just plain and simple. Ooh, caught a bug there. Interesting. Look, there it is again. Huh, wonder why that is. I'll have to solve that for next week. Yeah, weird. It's happening a lot. And, but the book itself, if you want to read it, it's a really great book if you're really new to game design and want to design games in Java, especially vanilla Java. No lightweight Java gaming library, no dealing with OpenGL, just using Java's Object Windows Toolkit, the AWT, and the JavaX Swing. Um, just it simplifies a lot of things because a lot of tools are already at your option. You can already draw it on a screen. You can do so many things with the screen. You can create buttons so much easier. Like I didn't have to do any hand coding for these buttons. To like what happens when you click it and make them react when you're over them. Like it's just all a part of vanilla Java or native Java. And it's really easy to work with. I hope I'm not going over time. So as far as what I kind of want to look forward to next week, let's see, I'll pick up the picture. I released this little bit of a picture. Basically, I did a very quick drawing of what I would want like a procedural dungeon to look like. You would have your start area where your four players would start at. If it's just single player, it'd just be one little guy there. And all these red squares represent different enemies. Basically, this is what I would like to see of a sample level. If I were going to do since I am going down the procedural route, it'll probably look more organized and clean like this is. Um, there's a lot of little bits and pieces here, and trying to make them line up perfectly procedurally would be a little bit more difficult than necessary. So I'll probably be making it look simpler than it is right now, but this was just a little mock-up to see like if I like the colors and to get how big I want the walls to be, how thick I want the walls to be, how big I want the players to be. Because let's see, that's kind of like close to 100% right there. I don't have actually a percent sign right. I don't know how big it is, but it should be about 100% right there. So you would see like the game about this size. As you scroll along, killing monsters, leveling up, all sorts of fun things. And so what I would like to see by Friday, since unlike most people, I typically have Monday through Wednesday off of work. That is actually a paid job. This isn't paying, at least not paying yet. What I would like to see by Friday would be to, inside of this tutorial game, let me get it back up, have the player move around by right-clicking. That's one thing I would like to do. That's going to be kind of big in itself, but not too big, honestly. It's just I already have some really easy, simple, good ideas on how to accomplish that. Showing some text boxes because it's a tutorial, so it needs to explain some things. Eventually, hopefully, this technology of text box would be used for player chat in multiplayer games later on. Like I could just extend it out. And after that, after those two get accomplished, I would like to see a rudimentary spell menu, like typing in some spells, or at least one spell, and kind of showing what a spell menu would look like, and as well, maybe having player collide with walls. That's going to be a little bit more difficult in some respects, maybe not in others. I don't know, I have some ideas playing in my mind. Um, because typically with collisions, I'm used to working with grid-based maps of like 100 tiles, so you just check and see if every tile does collide, and you check to see the players within it. But in this case, it might be easier because these are all rectangles already defined that's how they get drawn. You just have each rectangle, do a brute force method, check each rectangle with each player and each other object, and check to see if they're colliding, and if they are, then bam, done. Because rectangles are easy to tell if they're colliding with. As far as ovals and spheres or circles like this, those are also pretty easy to tell if they're colliding just because you have a center point and a radius, and if anyway, I won't get into too many details, but it won't be too difficult. And that should be it. So just to reiterate, hopefully by Friday, I'll have the player moving around, showing some text explaining how to play the game. Um, any bonus points aside from that would be getting a rudimentary spell menu to display, and having the player collide with the walls. Um, until then, that's been Battle Magic Update number 2. Thanks for watching.